Welcome back to Legion Builds, where I take you on a journey to bring your favorite fictional characters into Dungeons & Dragons. Actually, I'm just telling you how to build in D&D. Just journey sounds more interesting and deeper. Today we're working on the biggest badass in the Star Wars universe, Darth Vader. If I need to explain anything about him, I need you to pause this build, go watch Star Wars, all of them, and come back. I will wait. Back? Cool, let's do this. Today's goals are to create the living embodiment of fear and rage. Your very presence breaks the will of weaker beings and allows you to unleash total destruction. Speaking of destruction, our next goal is to bring the pain and leave nothing but broken bodies in your wake. That means damage. Lots of damage. Finally, your blade isn't the only dangerous weapon. You can crush people with your mind. We're using standard point array because a badass like you doesn't need to roll for stats. Well, actually, it's because standard point array makes it very easy to convert to point buy or roll for stats, but you're still a badass. We're multi-classing, so keep an eye on stat requirements. Let's start things off with strength at 15. You want to cut people in half with a single swing of your sword that's made of light that can't work with real-world physics? Then you want a high strength. Charisma will be next at 14. You're really intimidating and scary. Enough said. Con will follow at 13. You are so angry you can't die, and every waking moment is filled with pain. Though in all honesty, this stat should be way higher than any stat I can give you. Intelligence will be a 12. You understand how to break anyone, and you may be the only competent person in the Imperial military. But your wisdom will be low with a 10. I'm sorry, you failed a lot of insight checks and you have serious impulse control problems. Seriously, the military might be better if you stopped killing the generals because you get upset. Finally, we're going to have to dump Dex because, well, you're missing both your legs and hands, and the Emperor purposely gave you cheap metal limbs. Yeah, for you who don't know, all of Vader's cybernetics, limbs, and life support is cheap substandard parts on purpose. The Sith cult sucks. Vader is a human. Regardless of what Obi-Wan said, he is not more machine than man. You're a dude that's wearing an iron lung. Get used to it. You're not a machine. Variant Human grants you a free feat and skill alongside your stat improvements. Place +1 into strength and charisma. For your free feat, grab telekinetic. This raises your charisma up by 1 and unlocks your telekinetic abilities. First, it gives you the cantrip Mage Hand and makes it so you need no verbal or somatic components and is invisible. Mage Hand allows you to move objects up to 30 feet away that are up to 10 pounds. This feat also allows you to push someone within 30 feet of you as a bonus action, forcing a strength saving throw using your charisma as the DC modifier. Should they fail, you can move them 5 feet towards or away from you. For your free skill, grab Perception. For your background, we need the skills Religion and Arcana. We're doing this because I don't know how your DM sees the Force. Now, before we move on, let's talk about something. Cybernetics. Cybernetics do in fact exist in D&D. Prosthetic limb is found in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything and is a common magic item. It gives you no special bonuses, but is a simple magical limb that replaces your own. If you have multiple prosthetic limbs, they act as one magic item in the purposes of attunement. Talk to your DM about this if you really want cybernetics, but most importantly remember, Darth Vader is not a Warforged. Now I will give an alternate take on race for Vader I wanted to use but decided against for build reasons. Reborn. Let me explain. Vader is kept alive at first by his own hatred. Now, this is enough to fuel him, and the Reborn is an interesting way of taking Vader, and several people have said this as well. Now, why didn't I take this instead? Well, I got a couple reasons. First, his suit is what's really keeping him alive. I'm sure at some point hate wouldn't do it anymore. And second, had I done this, we would have lost the telekinetic feat and had to later use an ability score improvement to gain it. And I needed to make this as simple as possible. That being said, if you roll for stats and get better numbers than standard point array, this opens up using an ability score improvement to grab telekinetic if you go with Reborn. Regardless, Vader is not, nor ever will be, a Warforged. Warforged. I really don't like it when people want to build a Warforged Vader. He is not a Warforged. Grievous would be a Warforged. We're going to start things off with Paladin. This gives proficiency in all weapons and armor, which is good, because without heavy armor, you're screwed. Seriously, your dex is a -1. You need heavy armor. For skills, take Intimidation and Athletics. Level 1 Paladins start things off with Divine Sense. This allows you to sense certain creatures within 60 feet of you with an action. These creatures are fiends, celestial, and undead. You can also sense holy or unholy items. Lay on Hands gives you the power to heal yourself and keep yourself alive. You can also use this to heal your team, but who cares about them? You have a pool of healing that equals 5 times your Paladin level, and you can use 5 points from the pool to end one disease or poison effect. Level 2 Paladins gain a fighting style. Dueling adds +2 to damage when you're holding a single weapon in one hand and holding no other weapon in the offhand. You're also a spell caster, but actually a half caster. That will come into play a little bit later. For each long rest, you can prepare a spell list from your Paladin spells, with a total number of spells equaling half your Paladin level plus your Charisma modifier. Starting right now, you have 4 total spells. For these spells, Detect Magic allows you to sense the auroras within 30 feet around magical items and things being affected by a spell. You can't identify the magic, but you do know what school it's from. You can maintain this spell for 10 minutes. Divine Favor allows you to add 1d4 radiant damage to your attacks with a bonus action, while you maintain this spell for 1 minute. Searing Smite is a bonus action that adds 1d6 fire damage to your attack, and now they're on fire. When you hit a target with an attack while this spell is active, they must make a con save at the start of each of their turns. Should the save be made, the spell ends, but should they fail, they take another 1d6 fire damage. If they put the flames out in any way, the spell ends. Wrathful Smite adds 1d6 psychic damage when you hit a target while you maintain the spell. If you hit a creature with this attack, they must now make a wisdom save, becoming frightened on a failure. While the spell is maintained, they are frightened and now must use their action on their turn to attempt the save again. Should they make the save, spell ends. Finally, at this level, you gain a Paladin's favored ability, Divine Smite. You can now burn spell slots to add radiant damage to your attacks. By burning a first level slot, you add 2d8 radiant damage, and for each slot you burn, you get to add an additional d8 of damage to a maximum of 5d8. If you hit undead or fiend, the damage increases to 1d8 to all slot levels. Okay, we need more mind powers now. Time to jump classes. Level 1 sorcerers start off as a spell caster, and a full one at that. We are multi-classing spellcasters, so check out page 164 of the Player's Handbook to determine how many spell slots you have. Remember, Paladins are half casters, so only use half their levels to determine the total number of slots. You also have a Sorcerer's Origin, and Aberrant Mind Sorcerers fit the bill. The telepathy lasts for a number of minutes equal to your Sorcerer level, and can extend a number of miles equal to your Charisma modifier. Psionic spells are extra spells you receive that don't count towards your sorcerer spells. Heads up, some of these spells make no sense for you, but with each new level in Sorcerer, we can replace them with spells of the same level from the Divination or Enchantment school, as long as they can be taken by a Sorcerer, Wizard, or Warlock. I'll give you good suggestions when that happens. For your psionic spells, Dissonant Whispers targets one creature within 60 feet of you and forces a wisdom save, causing 3d6 psychic damage on a failure. If they fail the save, they also must now use their reaction, if they have it, to move as far away from you as possible. Arms of Hadar forces strength saves on all creatures within 10 feet of you, causing 2d6 necrotic damage on a failure, and now they can't take reactions till the start of their next turn. Mind Sliver target a creature within 60 feet of you and forces an intelligence save. Should they fail, they take 1d6 psychic damage and must subtract 1d4 from their next saving throw. Now, out of the 3 of these, none really work for you, but Mind Sliver is a cantrip and will increase in damage over time. My suggestion is keep Mind Sliver and dump the other 2 if you don't like them. For your normal spells, we're starting off with 4 cantrips and 2 first level spells. Sword Burst forces a dex save on everyone within 5 feet of you and deals 1d6 force damage on a failure. Thunderclap forces a con save on every creature within 5 feet of you and deals 1d6 thunder damage on a failure. Gust pushes one creature of medium size or smaller that is up to 30 feet away from you by 5 feet should they fail a strength save. It can also also push an object weighing no more than 5 pounds up to 10 feet away, and can be used to make your cape sway in a room that holds no wind so you can look awesome as your daughter gets away with stolen plans. Message lets you telepathically speak to someone with 120 feet. It's not a link like with telepathic speech, but it has a great range. Featherfall stops all fall damage on up to 5 creatures, including yourself, no matter the height. Shield adds +5 to your AC as a reaction. Level 3 Paladins receive Divine Health, making you immune to disease. You also gain your subclass, and now it's time for the galaxy to fear you. Oath of Conquest Paladins specialize in breaking their enemies with fear. While taking an oath, you receive Channel Divinity. There are multiple ways to use Channel Divinity, but you can only use it once per short or long rest. Conquering Presence lets you use your Channel Divinity as an action, and force a Wisdom save on all creatures of your choice within 30 feet of you. Should they fail, they become frightened of you for 1 minute. They may repeat the saving throw at the end of each of their turns. Remember, frightened creatures have disadvantage on all ability checks and attack rolls while they are within line of sight of what is causing the fear, and they can't willingly move closer to it. Guided Strike lets you use your Channel Divinity to add +10 to an attack roll. You also receive Oath spells. These are spells you always have prepared and ready. Armor of Agathes gives you 5 temporary hit points for 1 hour, and if you still have these temporary hit points when you are hit by a melee attack, that creature takes 5 cold damage. Command forces your will onto someone within 60 feet. Forcing a Wisdom save, you speak a single word in command. Should they fail the save, they must obey. If the target cannot follow the command, the spell fails automatically. If you're not sure what to say, don't worry, the spell comes with a list of suggestions. Level 4 Paladins earn our first ability score improvement. Let's bump up strength. For your new spell, Thunderous Smite is a bonus action that adds 2d6 thunder damage to your weapon attack when you hit with a melee weapon attack. Level 5 Paladins now have extra attack. You can attack twice with a single action. You also now have 2nd level spells, alongside your 2 new Oath spells. For your Oath spells, Hold Person lets you grab someone and paralyze them with your mind. Targeting one humanoid within 60 feet of you, you force a Wisdom save, and should they fail, they are paralyzed while you maintain this spell for 1 minute. While paralyzed, they will automatically fail Strength and Dex saves, you have advantage on attacks against them, and you auto-crit on them. At the end of each of their turns, they can attempt the save again. Spiritual Weapon creates a floating spectral weapon with a bonus action that lasts for 1 minute. While the spell is cast, you can use your bonus action to move and attack with the weapon, dealing 1d8 plus your charisma modifier in force damage. Level 2 sorcerers receive Font of Magic. You now have a pool of sorcery points that are equal to your sorcerer level. Right now you can use these points to burn to get more spell slots back, or burn spell slots to get points back. How about we drop a psionic spell? Let's drop Dissonant Whispers for Charm Person. Choosing a humanoid within 30 feet of you, you force a Wisdom save, and should they fail, they are now charmed by you. This is your mind trick, though you don't care if they do as you say, you just kill them anyway. While charmed, they believe you are their friend for 1 hour. After this spell ends, they know what you did. For your new spell, Thunder Wave releases a blast wave centered on you, hitting everyone within a 15-foot cube. Every creature inside the cube must make a con save or take 2d8 thunder damage on a failure and are pushed back by 10 feet. Level 3 sorcerers now have meta magic. These are special ways to augment your spells by spending sorcery points. For these options, Heightened Spell allows you to spend 3 sorcery points to force disadvantage on a creature you target with a spell. Remember, at this level, all you have is 3 points. Quicken Spell allows you to spend 2 sorcery points to turn a spell with a casting time of 1 action into a bonus action. You can now cast Hold Person as a bonus action and attack them. And you gain 2 more psionic spells. Calm Emotion creates a 20-foot radius sphere centered on you. Each creature, friend or foe, must make a charisma save if they are within the sphere. If they fail or choose to fail, one of 2 effects happen. Effects can now be suppressed that charm or frighten a creature, or make hostile creatures indifferent to creatures of your choice while you maintain the spell for 1 minute. Detect Thoughts allows you to read surface thoughts of creatures within 30 feet of you while you maintain this spell for 1 minute. You can attempt to probe deeper by forcing a contest of intelligence check. If you do probe deeper, they will know what you're doing. You can also sense the minds of invisible or hidden creatures within 30 feet of you. For your new spell, Gust of of Wind sends out a blast of force in a 60-foot long, 10-foot wide line. Each creature that starts its turn in the line must make a strength save or be pushed back 15 feet. Moving through the line costs 2 feet of movement for every 1 foot. You can maintain this spell for 1 minute and can change the direction of the line as a bonus action. Finally, let's dump Arms of Hadar for Gift of Alacrity. This adds 1d8 to your initiative for 8 hours, which is good because you have an initiative of -1 right now. Level 4 sorcerers earn another ability score improvement. Place this into Charisma. For your new spell, Catapult allows you to launch an object with the force and hit a target. Choosing an object that weighs around 5 pounds within 60 feet of you, you launch the object in a 90-foot line towards a creature, forcing a dex save if it hits them. Should they fail, the object and the target both take 3d8 bludgeoning damage. Level 5 sorcerers gain Magical Guidance. When you make a skill check and fail, you can spend 1 sorcery point to reroll the check. You now also have 3rd level spells to go with your new psionic spells. Hunger of Adar creates a 20-foot radius sphere of darkness. A creature that starts its turn in the darkness takes 2d6 cold damage, and if a creature ends in the sphere, it must make a dex save or take 2d6 acid damage. Makes absolutely no sense for you. Sending lets you send a telepathic message of up to 25 words to a creature you are familiar with an unlimited range. For your new spell, Fear creates a 30-foot cone and forces a wisdom save on everything inside the cone, with every creature becoming frightened of you for 1 minute while you maintain this spell, should they fail to save. While frightened, the creature must drop what they are holding and now must use their action to dash away from you. They can only remake the save if they break line of sight from you. And trust me, very soon, they will not be able to break line of sight. Level 6 sorcerers of the Aberrant Mind now have Psionic Sorcery. You can now cast psionic spells with sorcery points, and doing so requires no verbal or somatic components anymore. For your new spell, Levitate lets you raise an object or a creature by 25 feet. If it is an unwilling creature, then they must make a con save or be raised up. You can only raise or lower them, and if they drop before 10 minutes, then they take no fall damage. Pin someone to a ceiling and stab away. Level 7 sorcerers have access to 4th level spells to go with your 2 new psionic spells. Notice a pattern yet? And both of these have nothing to do with you. Thankfully, we'll replace them with better spells later on. These are Avard's Black Tentacles and Summon Aberration. Not gonna talk about them to save time because they make absolutely no sense for you, as I said. For your new spell though, Dominate Beast forces your will on an animal within 60 feet of you should they fail a wisdom save while you maintain this spell for 1 minute. While the spell is active, they will obey every command. Level 8 sorcerers earn another ability score improvement. Let's cap off Charisma with a 20. Now let's drop a psionic spell. Drop Summon Aberration for Charm Monster. This is an upgraded form of Charm Person, but now you can target anything, not just humanoids. For your new spell, take whatever you want. We're good at this level. Level 9 sorcerers gain access to 5th level spells, and you, yet again, earn 2 new psionic spells. First, let's replace Avard's Black Tentacles and grab Locate Creature. For 1 hour, while you maintain concentration, you can locate a creature you are familiar with if they are within 1,000 feet of you. You know if this creature is moving, what direction they are moving in, but certain things can block it. Let's see Kenobi hide from you now. Rory's Telepathic Bond allows you to form a telepathic bond with up to 8 creatures within 30 feet of you for 1 hour with unlimited distance. Telekinesis allows you to move objects and creatures with your mind in every direction, while you maintain this spell for 10 minutes. If it is an object, it can't be more than 1,000 pounds. If it is a creature that is unwilling, you must force a contest between your charisma modifier versus their strength modifier. If they fail, they move 30 feet in any direction and you restrain them. While restrained, attacks against the creature are at advantage. Its attacks are at disadvantage. Dex saving throws are at disadvantage. And if, of course, it can't move. Each turn you must retake the contest or the spell ends. Best part about this, you break the spell, they drop. Move them 30 feet every turn till you want to drop them. For your final sorcerer spell, Hold Monster is a stronger version of Hold Person, but no longer has the humanoid restrictions. Level 6 Paladins receive Aura of Protection. Now you and every friendly creature within 10 feet of you must make a saving throw. You can now add your Charisma modifier to the save. You also gain access to 2nd level spells. Branding Smite is a bonus action that adds 2d6 radiant damage to a hit and lights the target up while you maintain the spell for 1 minute. You also gain another spell. Take what you want, we're good. Level 7 Oath of Conquest now have Aura of Conquest. Now every creature frightened of you within 10 feet of you has their speed reduced to 0 and will take psychic damage equal to half your Paladin level at the start of each of their turns. Now remember Fear and Conquering Presence? You can trap your enemies within fear and just destroy them. Level 8 Paladins earn our final ability score improvement. Let's cap off strength with a 20. You get another spell. Take what you want. Level 9 Paladins gain new Oath spells. Bestow Curse allows you to curse a creature you touch for 1 minute while you maintain the spell. While cursed, you choose one effect from the list. I'll let you read it yourself. You also gain Fear, but you already have that. Level 10 Paladins have Aurora of Courage. Now you and all friendly creatures within 10 feet of you can't be frightened while you're conscious. You also can have a new Paladin spell. Take what you want. Our final level is level 11 Paladin, and you get improved Divine Smite. Now all your weapon attacks deal 1d8 radiant damage on top of normal and special damage. Alright, let's recap this. At level 20, your stats should be Strength 20, Dex 8, Con 13, Intelligence 10, Wisdom 12, Charisma 20. Your total classes are Paladin level 11, Sorcerer level 9. Let's look at the build. Your damage is through the roof. While wielding a longsword, you're dealing 1d8 plus 7 plus 1d8 radiant damage without Divine Smite. You can then add 2d8 radiant damage with a single spell slot, and bring that up to 5d8 radiant damage. You also can add spells to add even more damage. Your force abilities can paralyze, lift objects and creatures, throw objects at people, and cause area blast waves. And that's just in combat. You can speak telepathically, force your will onto your enemies, and can make people trust you. But your strongest power is the fact that you are terrifying. You can literally scare someone so much that they drop all their weapons, lose all their actions, and cannot move. Downside. First, you have the Curse of the Spellcasters, concentration spells. You have a lot of them. Fear, Telekinesis, Branding Smite, Searing Smite, Divine Favor, Raffle Smite, Levitate, and a few more. Also, you're clumsy. You have a negative dex, which means you will fail every dex save, and your initiative requires a spell to actually be good. If you ever get a chance, grab the feature Alert. This will add plus 5 to your initiative rolls, which will balance it out to a 4 initiative, so Gift of Alacrity works even better. You're the heavy hitter though. You deal massive damage while buffing your soldiers, and that is where you truly shine. With your troops by your side, they will not only know no fear, they will be able to capitalize on your paralyzing the enemies with fear. So lead your troops and unleash hell. If you like Star Wars, head on over to my Star Wars playlist to bring other dark side users like Starkiller and Emperor Palpatine into D&D, as well as characters like Din Djarin and Finn. Make sure to like and subscribe to not miss a single new character, and remember, character requests are always opened at gonzo63rd@gmail.com.